What's something your best friend did that you will never forgive? My best friend of over 10 years forced my sister to sleep with him one night while I was out of town. She told me while crying, could barely get the words out, said he had been drinking and that he made her uncomfortable from the second he walked in. I didn't even let her finish. I grabbed my phone and called him. He picked up and said, "What's up, bro?" like everything was normal. I asked him about that night, and he casually goes, "Oh yeah, me and your sister had some fun. She was playing hard to get, but don't worry. I got her to say yes in the end." My blood ran cold. I could barely breathe. First thing I did was turn to my sister, still in tears, and say, "I'm sorry for ever bringing that guy into our home." She asked what I was going to do. I told her, "You'll never have to see him again." I got in my car, not to his house, but to his dad's. His dad and I were close. We worked on cars together in his garage, had barbecues, shot the shit. I figured if anyone had the right to know what kind of man his son really was, it was him. I told him everything. At first, he was quiet, just nodded. Then he said, "Let's go." We pulled up to the house, and before I could even knock, he held the door open for me. I walked in, saw my so-called best friend on the couch, and snapped. I took a bat from behind the door and cracked it across his nose. He went down hard, yelling. I kept swinging, screaming at him to apologize. He was a mess, face swollen, blood pouring out, swearing he'd never do it again. That's when his dad stepped in. He grabbed the bat from me, and without saying a word, turned it on his own son, his face, his arms, his legs, blow after blow until the only sound was his ragged breathing, and then silence. He was dead before the ambulance even got there. His dad turned to me, eyes wet but calm, and said, "I failed to raise a man. I'm sorry." Later that night, he turned himself in, told the cops it was all him, never mentioned me once. I never saw him again, and I've never forgiven the boy I once called my best friend.